Hello and welcome back to the U Up podcast. I'm Jordana Abraham.
And I am Jared Fried. It is so good to be back here with you, Jordana. How are you? What's going on?
I'm great.
We love a Sunday special.
Love a Sunday special. Great size episode. You're on your way to
Shareable.
Shareable, yes. You're on your way to Florida.
I'm gonna go to Florida.
Saw my tan and you were like, I gotta
one up you. Yeah. I'm going to Florida. I have a show at a Boca community.
Okay.
And I couldn't tell you.
What is the age that you have to be to live in the community?
I don't think, that's the thing. It's funny because people have this assumption of every community in Florida is just this like people with canes, like, oh, my grandson does comedian stuff. This is just what people live there. Like people our age have houses there.
Yeah, I have a friend who's building a house down there.
Yeah, so
move there. Yeah.
Like my parents' community, anyone can live there.
Right. There's no age.
Age.
That just happens to be that people are generally a little older. Who live
Generally, like the people who but there's like families there too.
There's people who live in in a country club at our age.
That's kind of that is more of a thing for people who grew up down there than people would imagine.
Interesting.
So there's like kids who grew up in like a community, and I'm doing
Never left the golf course.
Right. It's a weird way to grow up, but so is living in New York City.
That's true.
So
it's all relative.
It's all relative, and so I'm doing it I would never do my parents' community.
Why?
There's
too
no
much
way.
Judgment?
It's too much. It's
like
too much everything.
Yeah.
I want to be able to walk around there. I like going to the bagel room.
Right. You don't want to hear constant feedback.
Right.
That's
and also
thing.
the illusion. Like there's a performance that I'm doing. Like listen, when we do this podcast, there's a performance. When I do the show, I mean, like even people. We saw the comments for the tour of my apartment. People are like, "Wow, Jared, like I like him," And then like someone in the comments was like, "Yeah, when I went to his show, I liked him more too." I was like, "I don't understand."
Everyone who goes to the show
has a good
falls
time.
in love with you.
Because I control. I'm the captain of the ship. I'm not the wheel.
The show is incredible.
Thank you.
Haven't seen it yet, and you're in Boise, Idaho.
Please, Boise. It's gonna be me and a bunch of potatoes.
That's the Idaho potato? Yeah.
The Idaho potato. I'll be eating potatoes. I'll be all over those potatoes.
You're eating the potatoes? Aren't you have a wedding coming up?
This will be post-wedding.
When's the wedding?
The wedding is the 23rd. What is the date of this?
No, this is
next
17th.
week.
I
gotta write a speech.
You haven't started yet?
I'm a comedian. We wing it. A little
Are
improv.
you gonna wing it?
No, I'll speak. Maybe, I don't know. This might be a benefits episode for me. I want to save benefits topics.
Okay. All right, we'll save it.
It is next weekend. This is a great thing to talk about, just the family wedding. My brother's getting married the 23rd. St. Louis. Go to dear old St. Louis, the Lou. And it's going to be beautiful. I'm very excited. My family, it's interesting. My brother, I remember one of his friends got engaged, and I was like, it takes one friend to get engaged, then they all get engaged. And then if you survive that.
It's like that for women.
Yeah, I think for everyone.
More for women than for men, I think, because men, I feel like there's more of a staggering.
A little, maybe, yeah, I think you're right. I just think like when the friend group
decides they're getting,
there's just an era, you know, and again, that's why you go to like 30 weddings when you're from one age to another. Then all of a sudden there's no weddings.
Right.
So if you make
stop finding true love.
Well, if you make it out of that group as I have, if you survive, then for me, it's easier to survive past that age of friends getting married when no one in your family's done it. I don't have an older sibling that got married before. I've never seen how their life turns out with my parents. It's a great unknown to see how my family reacts to a wedding, even seeing the engagement stuff. Like I had to see what my brother was like during an engagement.
See what kind of monsters
a monster.
Is,
yeah. So like it's a little weird. It's a little jarring.
The road for you.
For me, I get to see. I mean, my parents have been pretty okay. My mom's, she's had her moments where you're like, easy there, big fella. You gotta, try and tame the beast.
Right. Well, I mean, it's big for her. I'm sure
It's
big.
big
kinda
for all of
their,
us.
It's kind of like their wedding in some ways.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. So the
But I have
speech
to
is weighing on me.
I have to say though, like I think if you were two sisters, this would be a totally different feeling for you.
How so?
I think it would give you a lot of anxiety.
Oh, like my younger sister getting married?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of it that way.
No, but I
Oh
mean,
no,
but you're
I'm
not.
old.
I mean, you're not two sisters, but I
No,
think that's sort of
the
like
comparison game.
that is the thing. And I have a lot of sisters. Like I think that, and I know people with a lot of sisters, and I do think it's a thing. It's like when the younger sister is married before the older sister,
Yeah.
and this goes back to like biblical times.
Sure.
When like there's a whole like biblical story about like the one of the man like switching out his younger daughter for the older daughter to marry the guy
to get rid of her.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the whole thing was like you couldn't marry off the younger one until you got the first one married off because they had like less time.
Right, and that
something.
goes to like you she's your financial
Property.
burden
Yeah,
and
right.
property. Yeah.
And then you needed someone else to
woman.
You need
Yeah.
to offload it before you could take the next one on.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like that at all for men, but
No.
it is interesting. Just the difference, I think.
Yeah, I guess I go into this like
That's sort of
I
the whole
mean-
premise of like that movie with Deborah Messing. What was it? The wedding date
is
where
that
she
the
hires an escort to go with her as a date to her sister's wedding.
and he's gay, right?
No,
Oh, that's my best friend's wedding.
that's my best friend's
Yeah, yeah,
wedding.
yeah.
That's a different movie about a woman who's so insecure that she can't go to a wedding alone. That's a separate movie.
Yeah.
Every 90s movie about a wedding is about a woman having a fucking panic attack about going to another woman's wedding being single.
That's a reflection on her.
Yes.
You narcissist.
Basically.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no. Sometimes I feel bad at how little I've thought of it.
No, I think that's a societal thing. I don't think it's about you. I
No,
think it's
but
great.
I guess not of myself, of their wedding. I'm just like, oh, okay, there's a party coming up. Like I'm not like, oh my God, it's coming. Like I haven't even
Right.
done that yet. Maybe I will by the time this airs. I'll be like, shit, I'm behind on this speech.
Right. Your only sibling's wedding. It's big.
My only sibling's wedding. And I don't know, he seems pretty, nonplussed about it. Like
You just said he was a monster.
he's a monster. He's definitely got some groomzilla in him. But he had a whole thing with the tux where he wants to put a different pant with a different coat and it wasn't like a set.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, what are you doing? My dad said he looked like a band leader. He looked like,
Did it make you like excited for your one day wedding? Watching him? Get it ready? No.
I don't know. If you don't have the person.
Do you ever dream of your wedding day?
I dream of like how annoying it will be, like all the shit you have to do, the people you have to deal with, how embarrassing it is. I think of it as an annoyance.
Okay,
But I'm like, it's an annoyance that I have no control over. It's not my wedding.
Maybe,
Even my wedding will not be my wedding.
Maybe if you have a chill enough fiance, it will be.
But even if she's chill, then what? We're not gonna have we'll get married at the courthouse. We won't have anything. Take the money.
Yeah.
Go on a trip. I'll fucking fly somewhere for a month. Get me away from here. I'll do podcasts from Tahiti.
Sounds great.
Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Yeah.
I'll take that over a wedding. Wouldn't you? If looking back, would you do it any differently? Would you take if half the money you spent,
No, because I don't
put
think
half in the
I don't
bank,
think we,
half
like,
on a trip?
I don't think we like overspent, and I think
You feel good about the
you do.
decision.
I feel like we had an appropriately like invested in wedding. It wasn't like over the top. It wasn't.
And it was beautiful. It was beautiful,
Well,
and it was fun, and it was everything you would want out of a destination wedding.
Right. I mean, there's always little things about the planning that you regret, but like then I forget. I literally don't even remember any of the things that I chose for any of the things.
Like the small things.
Yeah, like all the things that like your brother was saying, like that seem so important in the moment,
Right.
don't actually.
I did
matter
tell
at
my
all.
brother, make sure the cocktail hour has lights.
That's the only thing men. All right. That was yes. That's a reference to my Fire Festival cocktail hour where we started an hour late and then it was pitch black and no one could see anything and there was no food. It was the worst cocktail hour I've ever been to.
It was the worst
cocktail hour I've ever been to, and it was my wedding, so I'm sure it was the
I
worst.
thought I had a great time. I tripped over a woman. People were saying, "Where is the food? I can't see."
Yeah. I mean, that was the worst part of the whole weekend. So I'll give it to you.
I loved the communal tables. Because then when we got to the dance floor, it was almost like we were lost in the desert.
Yeah.
Because it was so dark at the cocktail party. There was
Found
like,
the light.
and then they're like, "Look over there," and we all walked towards it. And then it was like, "Oh, I can see again." Oh, it was great.
Thank you. So you make it sound great.
It was great.
Hungry and dark. Yeah.
Listen.
Sound like a.
You should thank God that you're not marrying my brother, and I will give the reviews to Ruthie.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm excited to get the reviews on this show.
So is she.
Benefit. I'm sure.
We'll all talk about the
Yes.
wedding and the benefits episodes. Yeah, but other than that, so the wedding's coming up, and then I got Minneapolis is selling out, Royal Oak, Michigan, Detroit. I love Detroit. That's my family's from there.
You're sort of your hometown.
So from my youth, going there every year to visit my grandparents. So Detroit, Boise. Come on, Boise. Also, Olympia, Washington. I've been going to Tacoma for years. It's crazy to me.
Right.
So I've developed. Someone out in Tacoma must be listening to this. Vancouver, the Couve City, Denver, San Francisco, Pittsburgh, Columbus, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Nashville. What are we talking about today?
We're doing a petty or prudent.
I love petty or prudent.
Love petty or prudent.
So basically, breakup happens. Someone acts in a certain way after the breakup.
Right.
Were they acting petty or was it prudent?
Was it prudent? All right.
I'll go.
Okay.
Your ex asked you to take down your pictures together on social media. J&J, thank you so much for the podcast. I'm married, but I still love listening to your banter every week and hearing all the things I did wrong when I was dating. Oops.
Well, she figured it out.
Yeah, I think you're okay. The story comes to you from about a decade ago. Does that make me petty to bring it up?
Already?
You're not alone.
I still think about things from a decade ago.
Every woman just nodded. Okay, here we go. My ex and I were together for 2.5 years and had a mutual breakup, they put in quotes, because of distance. Soon after the breakup, I found out he had been dating someone else for the last couple months of our relationship. And we actually broke up so he could be with her.
It's very different than a mutual breakup.
Yeah, I'd say the exact opposite.
Yeah.
After a few messy arguments, we had a clean break, and I didn't see or speak to him again. Fast forward 2 years when he reached out to me out of nowhere, asked me to take down every photo we had together on social media. He sent me a long, scathing text message saying it was childish that I still had photos of us together. He was obviously no longer my profile photo or recent pictures, but I didn't go through my history to delete every photo of us together. So what do you think, petty or prudent? He asked you to take down all the photos together years after the breakup and calls you childish for not doing it yourself. Thanks for all you do, a childish bitch. What do you think?
This is very petty. This guy's crazy. 2 years later?
It's petty. I'm like trying to figure out how this happens.
I have an idea. I was thinking about it.
Go.
I think if he's with the girl that he was with while he was dating the other person, that person is probably very insecure about the relationship with her. That person probably stalks this person quite frequently, as I probably would in the same scenario. And it's upsetting for her to see the pictures of her with him. And then she's complaining to him.
Right.
And then he now feels like he needs to like wipe the internet of these pictures.
Right. And it does go back to men being fixers. Like
I mean, he's doing it in an asshole-ish way, but sure.
Sure, but what you're saying is correct. I agree with everything you said. And I think there was one fight that just happened.
Yes.
Like
2 years later.
like 2 years later, they're having a fight, and obviously their relationship is going how their relationship is going. We don't know well, good, but they're having a bad
not
moment.
Great.
Something is afoot, and it's
this has come up.
And this has come up, and the roots of their relationship are soiled. Because if you're in a fight with someone and then suddenly they're bringing up the relationship that you ended to go with them, and her pictures of you are all over her profile, his man brain is like, well, if I just get rid of those pictures, we will be fine.
Right.
I'll never hear about this again.
Not the case.
Which is not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is very male in that sense where it's like, I need her to get rid of those pictures so that my problem is gone.
Right. And honestly, if he just said that to her, like, listen, I'm still with
Right.
I'm still with Sarah, whatever the fuck her name is. She kind of obsessed with stalking you because of the nature of the fact that we were dating together. Sorry about that. By the way, again, my bad. It's become a thing where like the pictures are still up. If you could, I know this is a crazy ask. If you could please delete the pictures, it would just make my life a lot easier. I know it's been a while. This seems really random, but like I would appreciate it. I would do it.
That's a fantastic idea in theory. That's a fantastic text to send if he lives alone and she's not looking over his shoulder while he texts this.
Right.
Because maybe she isn't, but he cannot have her see the wife that he has that's mad about the ex having pictures up.
Right.
Can never see a text where he says, "Hey, so sorry to like this crazy bitch that I'm married to is totally down my ass about
I
these
left
pictures."
You for. Yeah.
Kind of regretting that now. Can you just like get rid of like the nicer he is, the more it sounds like he wants to be back with her.
I guess if she sees the other picture. But here's the thing. I mean, to call her childish for not having deleted the pictures is the part that seems where he's
performing for his wife that he's fighting with.
Right.
That's the only answer
Which
to
makes
like
him
childish.
even
like,
more annoying.
Right.
Right.
He's making his problem everyone else's problem.
Right. I also don't think it's childish to not wipe your history clean of anyone you've dated.
Things move down the screen. It happens. You forget about it. You've posted 20 pictures since then.
Right.
And
if the picture was still the two of them, if their profile picture was still the two of them, I could see him saying, I could also see why the girlfriend would be annoyed if 2 years later her profile picture was still.
Yeah, that's a different.
Right.
Why is she in love with you?
Right.
Still?
Like, hey, like.
Have you broken up with her yet?
Right.
That's what she's wondering.
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, another thing that happens when you kind of like start a relationship as a bit of an affair, which it sounds like this was.
Right. If it could happen to her, it could happen to me.
Right.
So
you probably are always a little bit paranoid that like that's the case, or that there's lingering feelings for that person or something like that. And so it sounds like she's insecure.
And if she has an open profile, like the idea that he can just do the stalking that she's doing.
Right.
He can look at her life and go, remember when, and our pictures are still up. I can see it.
Right.
You know, I can understand why she goes down the rabbit hole of insecurity. And
yeah, I mean, it's not this person's problem.
He should have been nicer. I think.
I agree. I would not want to do it just because he was being so rude about it. But if he just like literally asked me, even if he didn't bring up the other person, if he was like, even if he didn't want to explain himself, even if he was like, like this, I know it's been a couple of years. This sounds like a totally insane request. Would you mind taking down the pictures of us? I would really appreciate it.
Right. I'm just imagining
his
wife
seeing
reason. That text. The move is to call.
I wouldn't be mad if someone asked someone something like that.
No, I would understand. It would be it's more prudent. I think the anger and the emotion he put behind it makes it petty.
I agree.
To
make it like a character flaw.
Hey, my wife that I chose over you, total bitch. Can you
I'm
just?
Stuck, though, so.
We had a kid together. The mortgage is breathing down my neck. Can you just take down those pictures so that I can sleep in my bed again?
Honestly, I would do that. If I were her and someone said that to me, I would. If someone was like, "You're childish and like you're like obsessed with me and childish that you won't delete these pictures of us," I'd be like, "All right, let's see what happens to this relationship."
Him calling is the better move, but he would never do that. It's too much of a leap. Right. Hey, it's me.
Oh, yeah.
It would be so hard to do, but he'd feel so much better if he did it.
Yeah.
Like if he had called
and
him,
answered,
and she answered, and he left a message. Hey, this is a crazy message. I'm leaving you, but I know you're gonna like. Like if I were him, I call, leave a message. She puts the voicemail. It's a crazy message. I have to ask you to do something. I really didn't want to make this call. Get back to me once you've texted all your friends that I've called you.
That would be great.
Right.
Would you delete them? Either scenario? Both scenarios?
I would do whatever someone asked me to do. If someone's
Even
like,
if
hey,
they were
it hurts
like,
me that these pictures
hey,
up.
Jared,
goodbye.
It seems like you're obsessed with me. Would you take down the pictures of us?
I want to run away from the burning house. This is all men's dream, is to be away from the drama.
I don't think I would do it unless he asked really nicely.
I would be
I
like,
just-
whatever you need.
No, oh my God.
You
I'd
please.
be like, it's like just such a bad negotiation tactic. Like come in like with like accusations. It'd be like, I'd be like, it's not my problem.
She might have written that text.
What?
The new wife or the new wife.
Well, she should know that's also
right.
not the way.
Not a good negotiation, but she's also
this
trying
is
to
the
hurt
person
everybody.
who was having sex with my boyfriend while we were in a relationship. I wouldn't like be like dying to do whatever she kind of felt like she wanted me to do.
I don't
Right?
blame you. I'm sitting here being like, I
no.
feel for this guy now.
I mean, this would be so many brunch conversations, but I definitely would not. I wouldn't delete the stuff unless I was asked nicely.
Do you
Just on
continue
principle.
the conversation? Do you go, if he says, hey, you're being childish, can you delete those pictures? Would you go, would you even answer? Or would you just say, if you said it nicely, I would do it, but right now this is not the way I want to be asked to do something?
I don't know. I guess it would depend.
Like,
on
how
the
long do you
mood.
continue this?
Right. If he started off by like with an immediate accusation if it was childish that I still had the pictures up, I'd probably delete and block him. But if it was
Right.
like, here's the thing, if he asked me, I think I would just do it. I'm assuming, unless he's like a real lunatic, that he asked her, she said no, and then he called her childish. I hope, maybe not. I don't know.
It feels like it's an initial long text. I mean, she did write that, I think.
He sent me a long, scathing text message.
Right. So he came in
Yeah.
hot.
I wouldn't.
I
I
think
would
that was
block him.
co-written.
I'd block
That
him.
was a 2-author text situation. You got to block. Blocking helps.
I mean,
but
that's
not her. He
it's
doesn't-
Like, what gives you the right to just send me a mean message 2 years after you cheated on me?
You cheated on me.
That's the other
After
thing.
I thought it
It's
was
like,
a mutual breakup.
right. Like you cheated on me. This is crazy. It's not how you get what you want.
No, this guy's not a salesman, but I don't think that to me shows me it's not just him writing that message. I think that's
Yeah, I mean,
like,
if it started to escalate, I would just delete them to get them away from me.
Right.
But my initial feeling would be like, why would I do something? Why would I do you? This is essentially a favor. You have no, right?
listen, just like I said,
I'd
this
make it
on
my
the pod-
profile picture.
This is why, be alone forever, man. This is what you're dealing with. Making your profile
That'd be my
pictures like that's like demented.
In my
Like,
mind, actually in my mind, I'd be like, that would be fun.
yeah, I'm like looking at this guy, man, like, dude, just run away.
I have a caption: fun
Get-
memories.
Stop texting your ex, divorce your wife, leave the country.
Okay, let's do an email. Okay.
right.
Hey J&J, I come to you both humbled. And I'm
Uh-oh.
writing
Someone
this.
fucked up.
We're about to find out. I'm writing this with the most guilt I've ever had. I
Hey.
cheated and I got caught.
Hey.
I
Come
am-
in here, Papa Bear. Let me give you a hug.
That's not how we treat
Oh,
cheaters.
sorry. Okay.
We just discussed this with the other eye.
It's a very special episode of the U Up podcast.
I, male 31, left my house to go on a trip for work for a week, and my girlfriend of 5.5 months stayed at my house while I was gone to look after my dog. How sweet.
What a great girlfriend.
I know. I left my Apple Watch at the house, and after 2 days, I left my Apple Watch at the house, and after 2 days, she found it, knew my password, and went through my texts using my watch. She saw my messages that I'd been having with other women and took a photo of the texts and sent them to me, showing me that she knew. She immediately left my house. Before she did, she went through all of my drawers, cabinets, boxes, and tore my room apart looking for other clues that I had been cheating. She found a box of condoms and a toy that I like to use on myself. It's not
Kind of horror.
I wouldn't call that evidence.
Yeah.
She then tore up every photo of us and every.
She found my butt plug. The butt plug, his name is Susie.
It's cheating. She then tore up every photo of us and every card she wrote me and scattered it on my bed. I like her style.
Ooh, she's one for the dramatics.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Jordana.
Love it. Go, I mean, how many opportunities do you get? She's staying in the house, watching his dog.
He's lucky the dog made it out alive.
Yeah.
Saw my cheese into the ground. This is what is the song? Before he cheats. Yeah,
Maybe next time he'll think before he cheats.
that's right.
I just got home today. I absolutely love that this man has walked into his house after returning home from this like horrendous situation, sees all this shit scattered on his bed, and is like, let me get my laptop.
J&J. Help me.
Love it. Anything, man will do anything to avoid therapy.
This is his therapy.
Yes. Okay.
to random people.
Just got home today and I've been sitting here letting the guilt and shame take over me. I have no excuses and I'm embarrassed because I ruined something great and hurt someone so bad that I truly care about. I'm reaching out to ask your advice on how to ask for forgiveness. I don't know if I should wait to let a few days pass so that I can put into words a sincere apology. Or should I do it now and beg for her time to make an apology? Truth be told, I've had commitment issues for a long time, and I was very confident in my commitment to her until I just decided to let my lust get the better of me and seek out other partners. There was nothing I wasn't already getting in the relationship. I was just wanting to feel someone else. I acknowledge it may be hard to give advice to someone who doesn't deserve it, but if you both are inclined, I could truly use your help to find a way to mend our relationship and earn her forgiveness. Thanks, team.
Tough one.
Tough one.
Even though he did this to himself, I'm sorry he's going through a tough time. It sucks.
Okay.
Jordana, you want to apologize to him going through a tough time? What do you
no,
think?
this is I could totally see why this is upsetting for him.
I feel for her. 5.5 months.
You're watching someone's dog. I mean, here's the thing. There's clearly some trust issues in your relationship. Otherwise, she wouldn't have figured out the password to your Apple Watch and then gotten in and found it.
Searching for the Apple Watch is a little, tells you something about what's going on.
Here's the thing. She found her suspicions were correct. So whatever, there's something else going on here. It wasn't just that like you got caught and there's some sort of trust issue here. Anyway, sounds like rightfully she cannot trust him at all. To me, like he's now trying to like scramble to get her back. But the bigger question to me is here is like, why does he do the things that he does? Right.
Right.
And if I were her, that's what I would need to know before like there would be any sort of like forgiveness or anything along those lines. Like it doesn't seem, he seems like he's like sorry he got caught,
right?
You know, like, and he feels bad that he hurt her, but I don't think there's any sort of sense of like, let me examine or like let me fully figure this out. Because this is an issue in itself, not just, he's thinking it's an issue because she's really mad. It doesn't seem like he thinks it's an issue because it's an issue.
And he's doing the thing that's like a little bit 2024-ish, where it's like, he's like, the lust got the better of me. I've had commitment issues. Like he's saying kind of the things he knows he can say.
Right.
When there's nothing behind those, you know, like he didn't mention therapy of any kind.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't mention like speaking to friends and family or going. He's right. Like you said, like get her back versus
fix your problem.
Fix what, take her out of the situation. Someone I really liked, I couldn't fully commit to. Why?
Right.
That's the base of it. Now, based on, Jordana, like what you said, like, and I agree with you, the idea that like something was off here for her to go through your iPhone or iWatch.
Yeah.
Apple Watch. That means you're not a good partner. That means this relationship wasn't good. So not only beyond cheating, you're just not a good partner that makes someone feel safe.
Right. And getting her to forgive you is not going to change that.
Right. You're just going to go back to a partnership where someone doesn't feel safe, which is like that. To me, that's like the nice part about a relationship is like you mentioned being in, St. Kitts with Mike, and we're just sitting next to each other, listening to podcasts. It's just nice to be next to someone I feel safe next to.
Right.
And
doesn't sound like there's safety here.
There's none. Right. So I would want, again, and I'm a person with their own commitment issues. So let me, I'm someone who wouldn't call someone my girlfriend until I knew I was like away from other things that I was texting and other people.
Well, that's a different mentality.
It's a different mentality. Listen, it's a thin line between right and wrong at that point. If they were just dating and he was texting other people, it's not a relationship. I'm saying this is a relationship.
Yes.
But I'm saying like to differentiate, okay, now today I'm going to start dating someone. Now I got to text other people that I've been texting. Hey, I've decided on one person and I'm going to date them now. And that's my relationship. That's were you really doing right by that person in this? But you did keep to your word and commitment versus this, which is not keeping to your word and commitment.
That means the commitment means nothing.
So, but I'm saying I empathize with him on the idea of I'm getting attention from these people. Can I move forward in this relationship?
Okay.
Do you
But
know
it
what I
sounds like
mean?
he really wants to move forward in the relationship. He's asking how he can get her back.
Well, I think he's misguided. I think he wants to be able to move forward in a relationship with someone.
Right.
And he's
You
not willing
you think
to.
he's not into her enough? I don't believe.
I don't know about
that
not
people-
into her.
I don't think people cheat because they're not interested enough.
No, it's not about not into her. I agree with you. I think it's more about I'm not a good partner and I need to figure that out before going
Right.
back.
It's more like, why do I cheat? Not why did
Right.
I cheat on her?
Right.
I think is the question.
That's kind of what I was
Yeah.
rambling about.
No, I think
the
that makes
idea of
sense.
why do I not get into a relationship?
Mhm.
Why do I cheat? Why do I afraid of commitment?
Right.
He's not asking any of those questions yet.
Here's what I would do if I were him and he was really interested in salvaging this at some point. I would email her tomorrow.
Mm.
At this point, probably several weeks later. Okay. I would email her.
Put your toy in your ass.
I would email her a very intense apology saying you don't know why you do the things you do. You truly really enjoy being with her. You like hanging out with her. You don't know what it is that makes you do this kind of thing, but you're going to figure it out. And hopefully if she's around as you figured that out, you would you would love to try to keep the door open if she's still around then.
Would you rather, I hear that, would you rather him saying, I'm shutting the door? Would you rather him end this? I'm moving on, as opposed to leave the door open? I feel like that
let
would
her come back.
Right. I feel like I'm going to end this and figure that out on my own. And then, I don't know, to say I might come back,
You're right. Yeah. Maybe he should say, I think that's good workshopping of this. I think he
Right.
could say I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to go to therapy. I'm going to because I feel totally awful that I did this.
Mhm.
I don't know if he says he loves her. I love and respect you. I feel awful that I've made you feel this way. I don't know why I do this. I'm going to figure it out. I would I'm doing everything I can. If you in any way feel like there's any chance that you can forgive me, I would love to be with you while I do that.
I think he needs time away from this. I think he needs to
Well, I just said to end it, and then you
Well,
said
no,
to
end it.
do it with her.
No, not with her. I meant I'm ending this, but it's not because I don't think I didn't do these things because of you.
Right.
I did these things because I can't figure out what's going on with me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm letting you, I hope you can find forgiveness for me one day. I hope I can see you in the future and we'll be on good terms. But for now, I'm going to go take care of this on my own. And just please know that this wasn't you not being worthy enough for me, you not being enough for me. It is me not knowing what my issue is. And then, listen, you can always come back. We said this,
Right.
There's always redemption. But I think to put in I don't know, the idea, I would feel wrong putting in this little tiny, small print of and I might be back.
Well, I think the thing is more I think you'd want to hear that from because to me it's to say that and then to say and I'm ending this kind of feels like I've been cheated on and then I've also been broken up with.
Right.
Where it's it should be my choice if I want to leave this relationship in some way. Does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. I agree with you, and I wouldn't put that way. Yeah, I wouldn't see it as her being dumped. I would see it as
it would
I'm
feel
trying
that
to
way,
respect.
though.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I feel like the leaving it up to her is more of what she would prefer.
Right. I guess he could say that, but also I don't think that fixes his problem.
It doesn't.
I think
No.
going back to her means there's no consequence for any of his mistakes, and he'll probably do it again. And he'll probably have issues with commitment more. If he doesn't really dive into it and go, hey, what is this roadblock?
Right. No, I think he should do that. But I guess my question is, could he do that while still being with her? 'Cause people do overcome cheating issues. It's usually not like 5 months in.
Right.
But people
I
people
wouldn't
do
be
like
able
come
to do
out
that.
on the other side of that kind of thing. Like what they do, work through it or work it out. It's usually, again, not this early into seeing someone. It doesn't sound like he ever really stopped seeing anyone else.
Right. It doesn't sound like he ever really like gave. That's the thing. That's like, I don't know if she even knows who he is. Like,
Right. It doesn't even seem like he's, again, is like upset about anything other than hurting her, not like the actual action.
right. And that's why like making her go through that with him, like that's
Well,
not
that's
her
what I'm saying.
fucking problem.
I wouldn't make her go through with him, but I think that like that should be her decision.
I know, but I mean, even if it's her decision, it's a bad one. You know, like I think like
Right. I just
Hey,
think to break up with someone like on their behalf is sort of more insulting. Like you don't even
But
try, you don't
again,
even want to
being
work.
nice
You don't
isn't
even want to
nice.
work it out with me.
right, but being nice isn't nice to anyone at this point. It's not helping him. It's not helping her. I don't know.
He should suggest couples therapy.
Let's go together. 5 months in. Oy.
I mean,
I'd rather fucking
here's the
run
thing.
off a bridge.
If he suggested couples therapy to me, I might actually be open to it. If I really like the person and
if-
I felt like it was like a thing and that's what they suggested and they actually like did it, I would find that to be a sign. Just in the way you're saying of like that sounds like a nightmare to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the way you're saying that, to me it would be like, okay, this person is actually really committed. Because I think it would sound like a nightmare to most men.
See, I think that would be a lie to himself. Like, you don't go from I'm texting with multiple women while you're taking care of my dog to couples therapy. Let's work through this together. I just don't buy that.
It is a little early. It's a little early in the relationship to. Here's the thing: there's been no trust built.
right.
It's
So
one
he's
thing
not
to-
even the
it's one-
person.
right.
They don't even know each other.
It's
like,
one
in
thing
my
to
mind.
betray a trust of someone that you trusted for years.
Right.
But she's been looking through the phone like immediately. Like
5.5 months.
Right. There was no trust ever. So it's hard to make something out of something that started off terribly. And I'd love to know like what the relationship has been like that she wanted to go through the phone.
It wasn't good. And he's got to back away to figure out why he's a bad boyfriend.
Yeah.
maybe
Here's the thing, I agree-
that's
I
the
agree it
text.
would be
I got to
bad.
back away to figure out why I'm a bad partner.
That's fair.
Hey, I just want to let you know it wasn't about you. I feel horrible. I am going to have to deal with that the rest of my life. My one thing, if I were him, I'd be more concerned with her feeling less than.
Yeah.
I don't want you feeling less than. It has nothing to do with you or your worth or how I see you. It is a problem that I need to take care of, and I need to take time to do that on my own.
Yeah. And I would send it in an email.
Email better?
I think email is more like I've thought this through.
Right.
I'm not like scrambling to try to like say what I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
I've thought it through. It's long. It's like
There's paragraphing.
I also am not. It's not. There's no like urgency for you to respond. It's more for you than for me.
Yeah, use like a classical font.
Use the one that's really the intense script.
Yes.
Old timey script.
Right. And then sign it in ink.
Invisible ink. Invisible ink.
Well, hopefully we helped him.
Yeah. Let us know how that goes. Definitely make a therapy appointment. That's something you're gonna need. It doesn't sound like he's
Just listen to oversharing. It's the same thing.
there you go. It's not a substitute for therapy. I think we say that in the
Yeah, you
beginning.
do.
Okay.
Listen, we solved dating again.
We did it. I'm proud of us. We'll be back next week.
Boom.
The You Up podcast is produced by Jorge Morales Pico, Sean Kilby, and Candice Maniga. Editing by Jorge Morales Pico and Shannon Sassone. Social media by Candice Maniga. Guest booking by Ali Friedlander. Be sure to follow @u.up.podcast on Instagram and send us your emails to uup@betches.com.